mounted with a BSA RD20 red dot on top. We just checked to 0. This TMP Gear Junkie is getting ready to run the trench. This gun's pretty much made for outfitting a suppressor onto. Check how quiet this thing is. .597 Aac Sd bottle. I have some issues with all kinds of the magazines.
That was fun.
Fast and clean. What do you think about the Remington 597?
I'm having a hard time getting 10 back in there.
You're just gonna have to run with 9.
Yeah.
Jedi. Good. Hit. Excellent. Go. Both of these guns belong to the Nutnfancy project. This one's been in the project for about 1.5 years. Acquired this one summer 2011. Both of the guns together probably have around 4,000 rounds through them in preparation for this tabletop review. Yeah, a lot of rounds. Basically 4 of these. Actually more than that because I used other ammunition types. This is Federal bulk. I used CCI. I think some Remington, which didn't do so well. Mostly CCI in this stuff. So lots of rounds sent down range, forming the foundation for this Nutnfancy tabletop review on the outstanding, that's right, outstanding Remington 597. Hey guys, this is of course Nutnfancy. Time to do a detailed tabletop on another favorite 22 rifle. I actually had to do a lot of catch-up on the Remington 597. That's because I'm born and bred a Ruger 1022 fella, dating all the way back actually to 1976. I've been running Ruger 1022s in all types of forms and stocks and barrels and configurations and modifications. Absolutely love the Ruger 1022. It's the everyman's rifle. That's what I've called it ever since I did my video review on it years ago. Love it. But that doesn't mean you're not going to get a very enthusiastic review, a fair review, hopefully comprehensive one on the Remington 597. Man, does it have a lot of great things going for it. Great things. Let's tear it up. I wonder how quick I can do this. I'm going to stay organized as best I can on the Remington 597. I have some interesting stuff to share with you. I guess a ground rule here is what I always say. I'll probably get a few things wrong. I'm sorry if I do. I may say some things that differ from your opinion on the Remington 597. Always what forms the basis for the Nutnfancy tabletop review are my own data points. What I've revealed in shooting, my results, and that's what I can really speak authoritatively about, and that's what I do. One thing I really like, well, I hope this video becomes, is a touchstone for the Remington 597. Not to say there aren't some other great information sources out there. There are and have been for years. This gun's been around a while. But what you'll see is, in addition to my own data, you're going to see in the comments below a lot of great TMPers who have had 597s in their families for years and years, and they can echo the things I'm talking about. They can add information. When we get to accessories, there's a lot of great research that TMPers are all over the place do, and they find these really cool accessories that I just missed. And so check it out. The comments are a valuable source, a treasure chest of information. Let's kick it onto philosophy of use. I would say first and foremost, a recreational gun. A 22 rifle. I'm not going to say it's a tactical 22. Now this one, and let me introduce the players here. This is a Remington Aac Sd version. This is my favorite version, guys, right here. Imagine that. Nutnfancy Mr. Tactical. That's running a Silencer Co. 22 Sparrow suppressor on it. And man, is that a rockin' suppressor. Oh my gosh. Go look at our Silencer Co. factory visit about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and it's just amazing. Fits that gun so well. And then I have a camouflaged version of their standard 597 rifle, and the variations will change over the years, and I'll get to POU here in just a second. Let me cover those variations. As of the beginning of 2012, and Remington will always flex these, they'll change the models, sight configurations, barrel configurations, and finishes, stocks, all the stuff you guys know about. But really quickly, right now they have either the 22 long rifle or the 22 Magnum version of the Remington 597. Those were introduced, I think, in 1997, still in production. For a few years, they were running the 17 HMR 597 from 2003 to 2009. That little 17 HMR, they've had a real hard time getting it to function safely and reliably in semi-automatic rifles. And so they've basically pulled all of them from market. They're out there, they're very collectible, they're still being shot very safely, I might add, actually. Reading the comments, you're going to find some guys and gals that have them, and they love them. But they've gained in value, those 17 HMR 597s, very cool. They don't make them anymore. So what you're going to go is you're going to decide whether a 22 long rifle or 22 mag, your choice. I like the 22 long rifle because of the philosophies of use that I'll address here in just a second. Real quick, here we go into the models currently being made. Again, this is the first part of 2012. The 597 VTR has a Pardis A2 ATAC stock. Does not have a threaded barrel though. That's kind of a bummer, kind of a miss to me. 597 LS heavy barrel. 597 flx-camo or flx-camo, whatever that stands for. Now this one on the table is not that version. It's very similar. It's just a variation of camo. This is like mossy oak or breakup oak. I really like the pattern on this one. This one I actually got at Walmart. This camouflage one. Very cool that they carried that one. Then we have a 597 VTR quad rail. Do you like that one, Nutnfancy? If it doesn't have a threaded barrel, I mean, if it's gained weight in the process, I don't know. The barrel, as we're going to see when we start going from tip to stern on the Remington 597, is so squared away. I mean, it really is. I won't do it now. But I really don't need a heavier barrel. So it's just gaining weight. I don't think it's going to do much for accuracy. So no, I'm not too enthusiastic about it. The 597, like you see in the background, Aac Sd version. Huge win. Huge win. 597 22 mag. And that's an 8+1, by the way. Not a 10 rounder when you run the 22 mag. I think about 6 pounds. 597 TVP, that's Tango Victor Papa. 5.5 pounds of laminate shady camo stock. So there's a couple variations of 597s out there. Honestly, guys, you're looking at my two favorite versions on the table. That's not a mistake. Okay, when I go out and acquire for the Nutnfancy project the guns to review and hold into long-term acquisition, I call it, maybe permanently, just depends on the gun. I find the best of the breed, at least in that snapshot of time. These are them. The Aac version, again's my favorite. On to philosophies of use.
Awesome.
Recreational, like I started off saying, this is just a fun gun to shoot. They are just fabulous in the amount of enjoyment and fun they'll give you and your family. And recreational, you bet. And like I've always said with my 22 reviews here in the Nutnfancy project, and you guys know this is 22 headquarters in a lot of ways, I'm a huge fan of the rimfire option. So much recreational and actually marksmanship practice you can accomplish with your 22 rifle. Huge amounts. for the money, incredible. And also it might be a good first rifle with one caveat. These are full-sized adult stocks, which I actually love. I really, really love them. I think they're a huge ergonomic win for most of us. However, for your son, your daughter who's growing up, they're going to be too big for them. Do they make a youth version? If they did, I missed it. Watch in the comments, guys. We'll tell you if they do. And if they don't, they will. There's so many great youth options out there. The little Chipmunks, Henry Rifle, the Henry Rifle Company makes some. Marlin makes them. Savage makes them. So you might want to go that option if for the very first rifle. Here's another philosophy of use. I would say, I kind of mentioned this already, but Marksmanship Trainer. Okay, you don't need anything special for that. A good, just solid, basic, reliable 22 rifle is such a great choice for that. When you practice your trigger pulls, your breathing control, all the things that will translate to your centerfire guns when that ammunition is so much more expensive will translate. Okay, I've always said that in TMP. Whether you're shooting a pellet gun, you're shooting a rimfire rifle, the more trigger time you have, the better shot you're going to be. It behooves you to score some 22s and shoot them a lot. Shoot them a lot. Here's a really cool one. I'm going to show you. Let's start taking a look at this SD version, this AAC version. Pest control rifle. Look at how sick that looks. I got to tell you, shooting this was whisper quiet. Except for the supersonic crack of the ammunition I was running. Okay, there's some subsonics. You see a target in the background. I'll get to that. Some Aguila sniper subsonics I shot out of it. Wasn't 100% reliable with those. And it was way quiet with that. You know, if you live in a locale where it's legal, always obey the laws, of course. You know, this is a great option for you to kill some pests. Okay, and I'm actually all for that. If there's something that's out of control, causing major problems, and there's a lot of them, there's no natural predators, and maybe, yeah, just maybe, it's time to weigh in and do some pest control. Rats would be my favorite target of all. I could go rat hunting all day long. Great varmint control rifle here. And collectability, I don't know. Probably not. It'll be just a family hand-me-down rifle. You know, collectability in the terms of it's special to you, you'll like it. And some of these variations will be discontinued over the years, then yeah, you bet. Probably collectible. That's philosophies of use. Cranking along. Innovation. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going out of order. Value. Around $170 depending on the variation you get. Now, if you get that one, what was it? I wrote it down. Losing stuff off the table. The 597 TVP is $500. I think that's a lot. But keep this in mind, anytime that we outfit our guns, or even our 1022s with new stocks, really special barrels, it's easy to get to the $500 mark. Easy. You can get to the $1,000, $1,500 mark. Yeah, even on a 22 rifle. So I wouldn't say that's out there. Most of the variations you're going to buy would be around $160 to $180 depending on your source. Remember, Gallery of Guns. If you guys have FFLs that, for whatever reason, don't stock a lot of 597s, jump into Gallery of Guns. You know, galleryofguns.com, go there. They usually have a really great selection of 597s. Yeah, I'm going to pay $10 more, Nutnfancy. So what? You know, you're still supporting your FFL network. They get shipped to your FFL. The $10 more or whatever over the life of the rifle you're going to have it. It's chump change, you know what I'm saying?
Great job.
Value is always going to be compared against its two major competitors. That is the Marlin and the Ruger 22 rifles. And maybe some more in the future, and I might be missing some. Both of those, by the way, have been thoroughly reviewed, thoroughly tested here in TMP, and I absolutely love both of them. Love the Ruger 1022. Love the Marlin 795. They're great competitors and alternatives to the Remington 597. You know, the 597, though, has a few things going for it, which the others, well, I wouldn't say the Marlin, but definitely the Ruger don't. One is last shot hold open. Okay, this one, as you can see, has it. That is a huge plus. Why the Ruger design never incorporated that is beyond me. After all the years that it's been produced, it could have easily changed, I would think, the magazine follower to have it. They don't. The 795 does, the Papoose does. So there you go, last shot hold open. Another big plus is what you're looking at in there, and that is twin steel guide rods for the bolt. I really, really love that about the 597. The Ruger 1022, if you go inside, has one. Does it cause reliability problems that I've seen? Not really. You know, there'll be some debate on this. I think there always has been, you know, that some guys that are very passionate about the 597, they'll go, well, it's more reliable than the 1022. I will say, and I'm jumping ahead into my talking points, I will say that these were extremely reliable when they were reliable. What? Well, to be reliable, you need a good magazine feeding system, and I'll get to that in a second. And the plot thickens there when we talk about that. I think the system as itself, the twin tool steel guide rails, are an outstanding design feature. I'm all for them. I love it. It's got a big extractor in there that functions well. It has a really good trigger, kind of jumping ahead to ergonomics. The bolt hammer and sear, I was going to say sneer. How funny is that? The bolt hammer, I'll just say that. The bolt hammer and sneer are nickel Teflon coated. Okay, that's kind of a high quality feature for a 22 rimfire, you know, cranking in at about $170. Rigid barrel clamp. Of course, the Ruger 1022 can claim the same thing, and a quick change barrel on the Ruger 1022. And the barrel is not free floated, by the way. Not a big deal, you know. Don't make a big deal of that, and don't think that's a miss. Because honestly, the 22s that I shoot that are not free floated shoot great. We'll look at that in accuracy. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that barrel. Isn't that an awesome barrel? 100% steel. There's no liners in it. And look at the profile. And this is what I was mentioning earlier, that I really don't need an HB version of this gun. You know, just my preferences. This is plenty heavy enough for a little 22 rimfire. That thickness, guys, is thicker than a lot of AR-15 barrels out there. I mean, the pencil barrels on the ARs are going to be a lot thinner than this, and this is a 22 long rifle. And that'll take us to cruising along here. Amazing. That'll take us to size and weight. I already talked about the size of the stock, how that's a good thing. It's an adult size stock. It's very comfortable. It's ergonomic. I like that front end on it too, by the way. See how it's kind of flattened out there so we can rest it on stuff. It won't roll off. I like the angled foregrip on it. That's cool. It's kind of has some palm swells right here. It's just a beautiful synthetic stock, full pistol grip. There's the butt pad on this version. It's not rubber, but don't care. Some traction on there. Dig it, man. I just love that stock, and the weight is decent too. This is a 20-inch barrel on this version of the 597. 5 pounds, 8 ounces is what this weighs. That AAC version in the back, I think that's with the RV9 Weaver scope on it without the suppressor, is 6 pounds, 3 ounces, this one here. That's pretty light. Compared against the Ruger 1022, I think that one's going to be a little bit lighter, like with this one, of course. They're all in there, though. The Marlin 795 is just incredibly lightweight. The weight balance and feel is just phenomenal for these guns. A big one. I can't really say anything negative about it. However, I can't say that about the next talking point. Firepower. Ease of reload, magazine options. Well, here we go. There's 3 generations of Remington 597 magazines out there. The 3rd gen, I think, are annotated or shown by the Circle 10 you see there on the side of the cast aluminum body. The first gens had some problems. They went back to the drawing board. They had lots of complaints from the owners. They redesigned it. And then the 3rd gens, they redesigned even more. And I think they enlarged the internal dimensions ever so slightly. And these are mostly good. Honestly, I think the Ruger 1022 magazine is a superior design over this. If you're a 597 fanboy, I mean, I've sent thousands of rounds out of both, and I've had issues with these factory 3rd gen magazines. In fact, in TMP, I think we were running 12 of these. Each one is numbered so I can keep track of any problems. I got, just by, pure chance, number 5 and number 8. 5 of them, when I broke them out of the package, could not be loaded to 10 rounds. I mean, they could not be loaded to 10 rounds.
I'm not impressed with those magazines.
So I took them apart, got some 400 grit sandpaper, and you know, there's people that have talked about this. You can sand the followers ever so slightly, and let me tell you this, that's jacked up. You shouldn't have to sand followers from a factory magazine. That's just dick.
I'm having a hard time getting 10 back.
But I did it. Sanded them, opened it up, and I was really looking, you know, is it catching up? Is it, you know, what is causing that hang up? And I'm really pressing down on a little magazine. It won't take 10 rounds. That's pretty stupid. And I cleaned them, and I sprayed Remington dry Teflon lube inside all the magazines. Okay, snapped them back together, and I was like, okay, these should really run now. Some did, some didn't. I think I had like 3 bad eggs out of the bunch. Actually, less than that, it was like 2 ones that just would not take a full complement of 10 rounds. They were reliable with the 8 I could load, but again, that's messed up. I think even with a 3rd gen mags, and I'm just telling you how it played out here in TMP with, again, a very extensive protocol of testing, I was a little bit disappointed. You know, and honestly, in fit and finish, they're not the same as the Rugers. Heck, against some CZ offerings, I don't think they're the same. Against a Marlin, that stainless, not stainless steel, but it's a nickel chrome plated one, I think that's a superior magazine to this. Okay, so that's the downside. I'm still talking about the factory mags. The upside is most of them did work just perfect. Okay, did you hear me? So I'm telling you the entire data point that I found. I won't say they are carte blanche 100% reliable. They're not. You may have to work at it. Like I've told you, there you go. That's the factory mags. Mostly reliable. I will say when loaded with this bad boy, this is a 60 grain Aguila Sniper Subsonic. They did not like to feed those fully loaded. Once I got to about the 5 round mark, and I didn't shoot these a lot, just some, they seem to feed just fine in cycle. Okay. Then we go to the extended magazines. Riding in this 597 is the Pro Mag. I think there's a 25 rounder. And shooting this summer, you saw the Sunflower shoot. The 597 was ran with this. That was part of the protocol. We ran, hundreds and hundreds of rounds in that drill. We ran Trench Warfare. Crockett 20 myself ran it. I ran Eat Lead with my Sun Tactical Doodle. I mean, on and on. We tested these magazines. And I'll just roll it in now. And then the Remington brand polymer mags. Okay, I had 2 varieties, the black, the clear. None of these, let me just bottom line it right now, are 100% reliable. They're just not. And actually, it's a box of chocolates when you talk about the Remington factory magazine. You know, if we're comparing these magazines against like the Ruger, and I'm not being biased here, I'm just being honest, against the Ruger BX25 factory 25 round mag or the Tactical Innovations mags that have those steel feeding lips, we can disassemble them. There's really no comparison. These are hokey. Look at the feed lips, man. It's all plastic. You know, and look at how dark that one is. I mean, thousands of rounds sent through all these mags. There's probably about, 6 of these. I don't have them all on the table. I don't know. Some gave us a lot of problems, especially, very important point coming up, guys, for your knowledge basket, especially when it got cold. By the way, all these Remington mags were disassembled, cleaned, and also sprayed with Remington dry lube inside. In fact, on some of these, like this one, you can see that white residue in there. That's what that is. Doing everything in my power trying to make it feed reliably. I would have numbers like this number 3 ran super, super awesome. No problem at all. What do I have written on my wrist? That's a song I wanted to get today. Pink Floyd, On the Turning Away. Great song. I write little notes to myself as the day goes on. Sorry about that. The black one, 100% reliable. Actually, several black ones. I don't know if there's a polymer difference between them, but this one, if I was going to get one, guys, I would get the black. But I can't see the rounds, dude. It sucks. Well, what do you want? Reliability, or you want to be able to see the rounds? No one does that anyhow. Generally with a plinking rifle, you're just going to shoot it till it's dry. By the way, I forgot to mention this. Philosophies of Use survival rifle. Is it a good bug out rifle? I just think there's some better options out there, by the way. What jarred my memory on that is the rounds. I think it's great that a bug out rifle has a 30 round capability, but I want to be able to fold the stock and make it shorter than these rifles. Now the Remington 597 AAC is pretty short overall with its 16.5-inch barrel. Okay, so there you go. These were mixed bag. Some reliable, some not. You just don't know until you try them. And yes, I'm disappointed. I think if you're going to put your factory name on there, they should be 100% reliable. And honestly, there is a market out there, I hope someone's listening, for a truly high quality magazine for the Remington 597. If someone comes out with one like the BX25, the Tactical Innovations, it will sell like crazy. Guys will pay 40 bucks for it, don't worry about that. Just give me some stainless steel feeding lips, make it so I can disassemble it, and make a stronger spring in it. Which, by the way, you might be able to put in this one to improve the feeding on it if you need to. I didn't do it with these. I intend to do it sometime. You can put 4-pound springs in it. It's Brownell's, call number 940-000-891. You might have to cut off, I don't know, a link or two on that spring to make it fit. But I did see that the spring on this is just kind of weak. All right, so there you go. That's my take on magazines. It is the Achilles heel to the entire 597. Run the factories. You're going to be mostly reliable, if not near reliable. Remember, these are 22s, okay? We're not talking 100% reliability. If you want that, upgrade the centerfire, break out the wallet. You know how it goes. Accuracy. Well, you've been looking at it all along. Let's check this out. This was tonight. I just went to an indoor range. 30 feet is all. And that's a 60 grain Sniper Subsonics. One whole group. That's pretty good. And I was actually testing reliability, not so much accuracy. I was just saying, hey, can these cycle? They actually cycled really well from the 5-round point. Here we go, accuracy. I got really serious about accuracy in September. That's Winchester. The range, I'm talking the distance, 25 yards. This is out in the desert, not from a shooting bench at the range. Winchester Super X. CCI shot really well out of both guns. No surprise, CCI Mini Mag, one of my favorite, if not, actually it is my favorite 22 ammo out there. Winchester, CCI, look at that group. 5 rounds, another CCI group, another one, awesome. Winchester Super X, not so awesome group. I think that's 10 rounds. CCI, 5 rounds. Winchester Super X, I want to go as fast as I can. There's a 10 round group, decent. Could you achieve that group at 50 yards with the 597? I'd say yes, absolutely. Now, I kind of discounted that heavy barrel one, but if you are a range master, I'm talking to a dude that just goes out and bench rests his 22s, you know, and just shoots them for recreation, maybe the heavy barrel one is a good one to get, because your philosophy of use isn't porting around in the field or doing running guns like we do here in the Nutnfancy project. It's just from the bench, recreating. You know, in that case, heavy barrel, rock on. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see, this is September of this year. This is with a 3x9 Weaver on it. I have some iron sight ones I'm going to show you here in a second. CCI Mini Mag Solids, 5-round strings. Here we go. Very impressed with that one. Loved it. Look at that group, dudes. Nice. You guys can outshoot me. I know you can. But, man, I get excited when I shoot that good. What was I doing here? I forget. I might have a couple rounds of match ammo I was trying. I don't know what that is there. Nice group there. Nice group there. I just kind of explore the whole target. I'm like, for this, I'm aiming at the number 5 right there. 597 camo. That's this version. This one right here, fellas. Let's see how it did. This is iron sights. Talk about those in ergonomics. There you go, dudes. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Good. Iron sights. That's excellent. Wow, that's as good as the scope was, don't you think? There you go. Last one. I think I even had more than this. I got to pare it down. I get carried away with all this. When I have a fun gun to shoot like this, I get carried away. I'm like, oh, I got to go shoot that gun again. Give it another outing. Next thing I know, I've got like 20 hours of video, 35 targets. Of like, okay, I overdid it. There we go. 25, that's iron sights. Yep. Mini mags. I got to tell you, it is a lot of work keeping track of all these targets, the records, the ammunition types, because I want it to be accurate. I'm talking informationally to you guys when I share it with you. Kind of opened it up there. Federal Bulk iron sights, that wasn't too impressive. That's kind of my whole experience with the Federal Bulk. That's a Walmart ammo. This is CCI here. There you go, CCI. I would say the accuracy is outstanding on the Remington 597. Well, is it better than the Ruger 1022? No, it's on par with Ruger 1022. The Ruger's an accurate gun. The Marlin 795 shot just amazingly. Just did my tabletop in 2011 on it. Great guns. I would say they're all just really, really accurate. They're more accurate than you probably can shoot them. Okay? Now, if you're a guy that spends a lot of time in the range, I don't know, you'll probably shoot one whole group at 100 yards. Ergonomics. Stock, length of pull, sights, trigger, operation. Love the last shot hold open. Told you that. Love it. How about those sights? And different variations, different models of Remington 597 are going to carry different sights on them. This is the traditional centerfire style Remington 700 sights on this particular Remington 597, and I absolutely love them. Look at that easy adjust ramp. You have adjustable windage there. It's just no hokey stuff going on that sight, guys. You got markings where you can replicate it. You got a white bead front sight, and some versions are running the True Glows on them. These sights are great. You saw the accuracy they produce. How about that trigger? I've already shown you this one. Let me get AAC up here. The trigger is actually pretty good on it. Again, it's nickel Teflon coated, 5.5 pounds. Let's see which one pulled that. The 20-inch barrel one, the camo version, pulled at 5 pounds. This one pulls at 5.5 pounds on my trigger scale. That's pretty good. Would I change the trigger? No, I wouldn't. And I haven't. I'm just running stock on these. There are some trigger options out there for the 597. This is an ergonomic miss to me. I don't like that. That's the magazine catch. You have to pull it back towards yourself to release the magazine. I much prefer the Ruger 1022 that's out here, and it's just paddle. We can increase it. We can swap it out. There might be some magazine modifications you could do. Watch the comments again for some really smart TMPers. I probably wouldn't. I just trained with it. Got used to it. Not a big deal. But I got to be honest with you guys. It kind of sucks. Crossbolt Safety right there. Not bad. And talked about the stock already. Has an 11 millimeter, that is 3/8 inch dovetail for putting on, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you, make sure I'm telling you right. Yeah, that's right, for putting it on your scope. I actually have a Weaver adapter rail there, and I think that comes with the gun. I forget, to be honest with you. Totally forget. Okay, the ergonomics overall are excellent. The bolt charging handle is of medium profile, medium, I don't know, length. The Ruger 1022, when we talk about accessories, come on, you got to be honest, it blows it away for accessory options. It just does. That's the way it is. Length of pull I talked about already. The operation, simple, love that.
Excellent.
Last shot hold open.
Nice
Let's
shoot,
cruise.
dude.
Versatility Accessories. Well, heck, we're here right now.
Awesome, man.
1022 again blows it away. There's all kinds of stock options, barrels and triggers and charging handles and internal modifications. That's not to say the 597 market doesn't have stuff out there. It does. And again, there's stuff that there's no way I have time or actually, honestly, motivation to go find, because I'm pretty happy with the way these guns come out of box. Entirely happy, in fact. I just really don't think a 597 needs much. I'm pretty happy. Well, why aren't you that way with a 1022 then, Nutnfancy? I don't know. Good question. I don't know. Dangle out some cool accessories out there for the 1022. Yeah, I'll bite, you know. So I do. Let's see, what did I find? I think Jard makes a trigger for it. It's a trigger kit. It's not cheap though. It's $165. Same price as a gun. We see that in the 1022 world as well. Volquartz makes an extractor and hammer. Reduces the trigger pull by 50%. It's around $32. That'd be worth trying. There's an Evolution stock out there from highdesertdog.com. It's expensive. Some aftermarket barrels out there, 16-inch bull barrels. There you go. There's some stuff out there. Again, do you need it? Probably not. I would just run it. Get the version you want, you know, right off the bat. Get the one that attracts you most. I have a feeling that after this video, this is going to just take off. I think it already is. I think the AAC version is just huge. One is the barrel shorter, so it's more maneuverable, it's more portable, it's lighter weight, and then if you attach the suppressor like I'm showing right now, it's that shorter overall length. Huge win. I really saw no accuracy difference between the 20-inch barrel version, this one, and the 16.5-inch barrel version. There's really no downside. Maybe velocity, longer range shooting, there would be. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say on accessories. Field strip and maintenance. Simple. Is it as simple as a 1022? A little bit more complicated. You have 2 hex screws that hold in the action. And that, honestly, is a plus and advantage over the 1022 because it only has the one, right? This one sinks and really pulls that action into the stock for maximum consistency. Huge. So you pull out these 2 hex screws. I'll roll in some pictures. Okay, you're going to unscrew those. You'll pull out the barreled action from the stock, and then there's a retention pin right here that holds in the trigger group. Get your Glock tool, your little Glock pin tool, whatever it is, and push that pin out, and then you have your trigger group. Now you can get your scrub brush, clean it, you know, blow out the stuff, whatever. You don't need to do this very often, by the way. I just did it tonight to this AAC version so I could, you know, remind myself how the 597 takes down and everything. And then those twin tool steel rails will extract from the receiver by 2 retention screws. So you'll unscrew those 2 retention screws. Very cool. I love this. It's actually easier to do than 1022 in my book. And then you can extract those 2 rails out, the springs, clean them, wipe them down, re-oil them, scrub your bolt down. Look how dirty my bolt was, man, after the testing. And I cleaned this during the test too. This was after the second time. Yeah, just clean it, oil it lightly. I use rim oil, just a light spray of rim oil, put everything back together. Oh, you should use dry lube in your 1022 or your 22s. Whatever, I find rim oil's fine. And then when you put it back, and cycle it again, just like this one, you're just gonna really appreciate that smoothness of the Remington 597. Put the screws back in, you're done. Really simple. Of course, you're gonna be cleaning the bore from the muzzle in, just like we do on our 1022s, Garands, M14s, no big deal, just be careful up there. Field strip and maintenance is just simple, love it. How about quality and reliability? You've probably already got the vibe right now, fellas, that this is a quality rifle, 100% American-made rifle. It will last your lifetime. You really understand that when you take it apart and you look inside. I don't really see any corners cut with a 597, and I'm talking practical corners. You know, long gone are the days when this trigger guard, for instance, can be made out of machined metal. You know, that's a polymer trigger guard. You know, some guys may not like that, but you know, whatever, I don't care. If you really want something nice, you're gonna be spending more than $500, probably around $750. Growing up, we had a Weatherby 22. What a gorgeous rifle that was. 10-round magazines, just beautiful fit and finish. That high polished Weatherby, you know, finish on it, and the high luster stock. It's just beautiful. My brother owns it now after Dad died. And it's great. Maybe one of these days I'll do a tabletop on it, but that's a high-end semi-automatic 22, and there's some others out there. This is more of a user-grade rifle, and so there's some compromises made, but I'm talking as far as practicality for kind of cool performance and roll. I don't see any shortcuts made in the 597. Not yet. You know, hopefully they don't, I don't know, start putting a barrel liner in or something stupid like that. Reliability was actually, magazine issues notwithstanding, pretty excellent. And let me show you this, forgot this. Here's a Pro Mag. I was out there in about, I don't know, 17 degrees Fahrenheit shooting, and this is what happened to one of the Pro Mags. I just left it. I was like, this will be really cool to roll in on tabletop. This is what I'm talking about. Now, I actually liked these Pro Mag magazines. I don't even know if I talked about them enough. I'm kind of glad I remembered. They fed actually pretty good. This little hole right here, the retention hole, the cartridge lips, not lips, but the rims will get caught in there. You may have to push it as a pass after initial loading. Other than that, they're fine. And it's so funny what I learned in extended testing of all the guns in TMP. I mean, I think I got it down. I'd shot these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rounds. I'm like, wow, these are really good magazines. I think they're better than Remington factory mags. I go out in 17 degrees Fahrenheit and I get this, jams, out of my number 2 magazine. I'm like, oh, that sucks. And you can see it's still jammed. I mean, I can fix it. You can't take the magazine apart, though. Magazine issues notwithstanding, if you have a good magazine, number 2 apparently wasn't. Numbers 1 and 3 Pro Mags were great. Box of chocolates. Those ran great.
Hard, I guess.
You know, some failures to ignite. I think I have some in my pocket, in fact. Yeah, check this out. This was today shooting the suppressor. Here's the Federal bulk. And it's not always the gun's fault. Look at this. These are all primer strikes on that. You know, but it's bulk ammo. The price is right. Expect it. You know, expect it. You know, I wish I could change it and they had better quality control. They don't. Quality is phenomenal. Reliability overall on par. Maybe even slightly better than other 22s I've fired if you can get the good magazines. Enjoyment. Huge enjoyment. Go out, take at least one of these, some friends, some family, get some steel targets, preferably ones that are awesome. I don't know, you see what I shoot, the Evil Roys from ActionTarget.com, the Rimfire Dueling Tree. You don't have to use those, there's all kinds of great targets. Tin cans, and go have a blast. The Remington 597 is a classic 22 autoloader. And I think it totally carries the banner of the 22 autos from Remington quite well, starting with the Fieldmaster. Great gun, highly recommended, and it's on par, like I said, with the 795 from Marlin, the Ruger 1022. That's an Nutnfancy review. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for all the support. Check you out.